Hi, everyone. This is Jacqueline from She Rises Studios, and welcome to today's author celebration. And today we celebrate Brand Like a Boss, a powerful anthology and global media experience designed for visionary women who refuse to play small. This book is more than a collection of success stories, it's a declaration that your brand is not just what you sell, it's who you are and what you stand for and the impact you leave behind. So please help me welcome a few of the trailblazing women who share the real journeys behind their iconic brands. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Hi.
Hello.
Yay. So, why don't we? I know that probably a lot of our viewers already know you, but for those who doesn't, why don't we go around, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and why did you decide to join Brand Like a Bot? Anybody can start.
Okay, I'll start. I was waiting. I was like, guys, I always go first. I'll not go first, but here I am. So my name is Amy Sanders, and I'm the creator of the Unblocked Method. I help women. Usually, most of the women come to me with like business, but it goes deeper into identity calibration is what I focus on. And I chose to be part of this book because I hid my brand of who I actually am for a really long time. And it wasn't until I tapped into my genius and who I really am externally, like internally to externally, to make sure that they match. I'm not saying this very well, but that is essentially why I chose this book, is because I know what it's like to hide behind cute logos and fonts and thinking that's the brand, and you don't even match internally what is external. I've created multiple businesses, and really it wasn't until I decided that I am playing small and I am not actually showing people who I am and what my genius is, and I need to match who I am internally, externally. And so once I shifted that, everything changed for me. And so that's why I chose this book, is because I want other women to not make the really long journey and mistakes that I did. So if I can fast track that for them, then great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. Who would like to go next?
I'll jump in next. I'm Megan Dirks, for those that don't know me, and I'm very excited to be in this one because branding is all I've done my entire life, essentially, professionally. So it means a lot to me, this one. That's why I jumped in and participated. But I am the creator of the Girl on the Left project, which has been a really fun women's storytelling platform to build, because not only do women come in and share their stories, most of them feel inspired to go build their own brands. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's with me or sometimes that's with others, but I love seeing people light up when they realize their potential. And like Amy said as well, there's not just the visual identity piece, right? Like the pretty fancy piece that so many people fall for. So I really love working with women on an identity and strategy level as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. And now we can go to Christine.
Hello, I'm Christina Cooper Foster. I'm so sorry I missed last week. I just found out I missed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. I am uh, Christina Cooper Foster, as I said, and I am the founder of the Badass Nation. And we are about to open the doors to a community for entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries, and creatives who are dream makers and genius makers and empire builders and fellow badasses on the journey to greatness. And we are opening the arena, which is going to be a live transformation coaching podcast, in order to help others create and make a difference, leave your legacy, and live legendary. So I joined Brand Like a Boss because I know the power of being around other bosses. And I believe that that is what branding is. It's not what we do, it's who we are. And so I believe that our legacy is living now. And I want to rise higher with other brand bosses. And I know that everyone here is a brand boss. And so it makes me a better boss and a better brander. And I'm just excited. I believe that everyone deserves to be a badass.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Christina. Well, speaking of legacy, What does your brand is your legacy mean to you personally in your own personal journey?
Yeah, I'll go since I just said that. And then what I think is my legacy, and I know is my legacy, is I'm actually in legacy right now in terms of building my business and my brand. I have four amazing sons who are not just my sons, but they're also my business partners. And they are an integral part of building this new brand, which we call the Badass Revolution. And I believe that it's a multi-generational effort, and that's really what the shift in our brand is now, is focusing on multi-generational mentoring and building not just a business but our family fortune, because I believe that family is my fortune, and I am fortunate to be building this empire with my four adult children. That's what legacy is to me.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I'll hop in, sure. I see us both doing that, maybe. So for me on the legacy front, everything I've built with Girl on the Left in particular has been outside of my core primary branding practice for myself. And that was very me focused, right? That was survival, serving my clients, building new brands with them, all of that part. This part with the brand I've built recently is way more global and way more intergenerational and way more cross-cultural. And I love everything about that. So what the goal is, there's so many long-term plans. Of course, we're all visionaries. We all kind of know what the big dream is. And I'm excited for that piece because it's actively in motion. So instead of being in that kind of dreamer phase or visionary phase, just like hoping about it, the steps are actually being taken for the active legacy building right now. So that has me very lit up at the moment. And expansion is not a future thing. Expansion is a everyday thing right now.
That's awesome.
Megan said it so well. I'm just going to piggyback off of what she said. Mine is three parts. One is I have such a strong passion and desire to show women what's possible, and that it's okay to play big, and that we don't have to play small. We don't have to shush our own voices. And so for me to do that, I have to be the example of what's possible. So I can't ask her to do what I'm not already doing or haven't done. And so I have to show up in my power every single day to be that example and to show her what's possible. And I love the women here because you guys are also doing that. The second part is my kids. I've got 7 of them. So it's a lot of kids. And I came from completely.
I love you.
I have 3 that are my biological children, and then I have 4 that I married into. And so I want them to also know what's possible for them. So I also need to be an example to them and create a dreamy lifestyle for them, which actually they do have a really dreamy lifestyle now. And they know what's possible because of us, because of me and my husband and what we've been able to do. And the third part is just standing in power, I guess, standing in my power, because I used to not. And so I always need to, so that others will and can. So I guess 1 and 3 are similar. They came out differently, but that's essentially what it means generationally. I want to die and people remember my name, not because it's like I'm so cool, but because, oh wait, she was a trailblazer, and if she can, I can.
Well, and that's, that I think that's one of the great things about this book is that women who are entering, just starting their own brand does not have to go through the rough journey that you women have gone through, because here is already the blueprint. Now, what was the biggest mindset shift that made you elevate your brand from the mediocre, from the low bottom, cutesy brand or logos, as Amy said earlier? What was the mindset shift? How did that happen?
I'll share.
Okay.
I think Megan touched on it too.
Mhm.
I think John Maxwell says that success is when you focus on yourself, and significance is when you focus on others, right? And I
Mhm.
think that for me, the shift really was shifting out of the focus on I need to, and I think all of you women here have said this in different ways, right? Is like shifting away from believing that branding was about trying to promote yourself and trying to make some sort of difference in the marketplace. And for me, it was really recognizing making a difference in a person. And learning the lesson that it's not all about me. and children will do that. I have all adult children, and I have children with different abilities, and some of them, we didn't realize that until much later in their lives. And it's kept me really grounded in that I'll always be their mother, but I also need to be their model in their mirror
Mhm.
more than I need to be a parent to them at this point, right? And so I've recognized, and they have helped remind me that it's not about me, and that my work is my body of work that happens to be my lifestyle, as Amy mentioned, right? It becomes more than just what we do, it's who we are. That was my shift for me.
It's awesome. I love that. I love that, when you mentioned that success is when you think about yourself.
Right.
Significance is when you start thinking of other people.
Exactly.
That's
And
wonderful.
that's not to say that success is wrong. I think it's just the continual rise and
Yeah.
transcendence of what we're doing and why we're doing it, at least for me. And that transformation for me was recognizing that there was another level to go to, which
Mhm.
was beyond just what can I do, in building my business and providing for my family and being a single, solopreneur and a single mom at the same time, right? Was recognizing that my greatest level of success was the impact I could make in helping others create their impact and add value to others that would add value to others.
That's true. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes, Amy.
I can go. If we're still on this question, for me, the shift was when I think so many people have done this, and I did it multiple times. Hard lesson, but was when you really, again, you're not turning, like, I'm not showing up in my power, but I am doing what I think other people, what they want to hear, what they want to see. So, you have the woman online that's getting all the likes, all the comments, all the things. And so then you just start trying to be like her, thinking that's going to be the ticket. Like, oh, if I'm just like her. And then yet it lands flat for me. And I'm like, well, I did what she did. I think a lot of people do that, but it's about your own essence. It's about who you are. And the reason why people love her is because she's being herself. And so when you are yourself and you love yourself for who you are and the difference that you make, and you celebrate that, then you become magnetic. And so once I shifted and actually celebrated myself and showed up as myself, and that it was okay too, it was safe to speak up, it was safe to even say edgy stuff, like all of that was the big shift for me. And letting go, like I actually did let go of a couple of the businesses that I just kept grinding, because I had them for so long. But they weren't serving me anymore. Sure, they made some money, but they were pulling from me, and they felt really heavy. And so for me to be all in on myself and all in on what I wanted to create, I had to let go of some of like the stuff, which was two of the businesses that I had had for years. And after I did that, I felt even more free. And again, more magnetic, more myself, they were taking from me. So sometimes you got to let go of things you've clung to so tight, and let yourself rise. So that's what I learned.
And I think, especially in this world that we have right now, where we are just surrounded with influencers, I don't think there's anything wrong with being influenced, but if the influence is reaching your core, that you're your identity is lost, then that's where the imbalance happens. And I think my next question about this is, Megan can jump into this. How can we ensure that our brand reflects who we truly are and not what other people expect from us or what we think other people would want to see?
Yeah, and I'd love to dig in on this because it pairs with the mindset shift so well too, right? We've
Yeah.
mentioned today, and Christina has mentioned like brand boss, that term, branders that are bosses or whatever, however we phrase it or package it up. My original branding practice is literally called brand boss coaching. I could not have made it more generic to appeal to the masses. We talked about this on a previous call. And at some point, I got really bored with my clients because when they were coming in, they didn't have any ambition to make something, like Amy was saying, like genuinely authentic or out of the box. They wanted to mimic and copy others that they'd come to me with channels like, I want to look like her. I want my feed to look like this. I want my website to look like this. And it's like, okay, why is this happening? And then I realized that by me being so generic and people pleasing to the masses, that I also am not setting the example of truly wanting to embody a really personal brand. So I think there's a lot there that we could touch on for sure. But at the end of the day, the best personal brands I've seen are ones that are unapologetically themselves. And if they curse in their marketing, then they curse in their marketing. If they are faith driven, they incorporate that. If they love whatever, I have a newfound adult love of dinosaurs and I am working that in because why not? So all of it boils down to it's either going to attract people or repel people. And you really have to have that trust that it's going to attract the right people and also repel the right people for you, for sure.
That's awesome. That's true. You want the people that you want to attract will be the people who you show on your brand. So that's wonderful. Now, to close us off here, what advice would you all give to a woman who is maybe starting to, just thinking about building or is in the starts of building her brand from inside out?
I'll just go back to back and get this out of the way. um, for for me, I think just start it authentic as early as you can and be brutal about that. Like make an actual list of what do I love. I love dinosaurs, I love tattoos, I love video games, and I also have a very professional side. So I want all of those elements touched on in my personal brand because it doesn't take away from my skills or credentials or anything else. And it just adds to the unique cocktail that is me, how I put that out in the world. So I really encourage new clients to do that now. And we all have skeletons in our closet. We're all human. We've all made mistakes and we're all growing every day. So it doesn't really matter what you are or put out there as long as it's consistent and true to you.
Thank you so much, Megan.
I love that. I'll piggyback again and just say, as you're making that list of the things that you love that Megan just hit on, also make a list of the fears. The things that you're looking at and that you're scared of, like why you were not going visible, like what is the fear that's actually behind that, and get ultra curious, because when you get those fears out of the way and you lean into who you really are, that list that Megan said, like even the quirky stuff, you'll be able to show up so much stronger because those fears are out of the way. Like getting those blocks out just like quicker than I did or other people have will help you immensely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love what both of you said. It's very powerful. And I think that if I could give any advice, that your pain is your power and your purpose is your prosperity. And they all go together. There's not any part that is less than. And I love that you brought up fears, Amy, and I love, Megan, that you're really talking about being unapologetically you. And I think as women, and we could talk about this forever, right? But we've been conditioned to constantly pull ourselves apart and try to be something we're not. And so you already said it, Jacqueline, when you said, branding from your inner self. And I think that's where your greatness lies.
Wonderful. Well, what an incredible celebration of leadership, visibility, and clearly bold feminine authority. Brand like a boss reminds us that branding isn't about being loud, it's about being aligned. It's not about um, s- mimicking other people, but stepping fully into who you are and leading with clarity, confidence, and purpose. So, to every visionary woman watching right now, your voice matters, your mission matters, and your legacy starts with the courage to show up fully. So, if you're ready to rise, to build boldly, and to embody your influence, grab your copy of Brand Like a Boss, now available on Amazon. Both ebook and paperback are now available. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Bye.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.